Hi, everyone. Remember me? It's been a while since we've done a Facebook Live, considering we have hot and humid weather, really not much to talk about. This is going to be a short update, about 10, 15 minutes tops, but I just wanted to let you know what you can expect because by tomorrow evening, storms are going to be a possibility. There's a lot of things that are going on. Razorback soccer has their season opener on the pitch at Razorback, the soccer field. Also, Justin Verlander is pitching against the Naturals for the Corpus Christi Hooks, I think. But that's kind of cool. And yeah, how's everybody doing? Hope you're doing well. It's been a while. I didn't know if you remember how to do this or not because I haven't done a live update in a while. But you know what? We want to save these. We want to reserve them for like special occasions. If we did it every day, it wouldn't be special, right? And Kylie says, yeah, it is like a sauna. You know what's interesting too is that sometimes saunas are dry. You have a dry sauna where it's super dry and hot. Well, that's not the case. This is a steam bath. There's like a steam shower. There's also a wet sauna too. So I would agree. It is, boy, it is bad in the river valley too. We'll take a look at that. So let's break this down for you. Storm chances. This is what we've got. The day two convective outlook. You'll notice those storms are going to be a possibility across mainly northern sections of our weather coverage area for severe weather. The farther south you go, the storms start to weaken and also dissipate in the amount of coverage. The energy is going to be pretty impressive to the north. So I wouldn't doubt if this large slight risk gets upgraded. Jacob, if you're there, that means that we could have an enhanced risk tomorrow, especially for parts of Illinois and Missouri. Now, not around here. We have a frontal boundary that's coming in, but take a look here at the different threats. So we've got the tornado threat that's north, and then you'll see the wind threat that's kind of clipping our area. And then finally, the hail threat. So, wind and hail are going to be the main predominant threats. We'll go back to this zoomed in view Thursday afternoon into the evening. Well, I wouldn't be nervous about it. It's storms, storm possibilities. This is nothing like, I know a lot of people have storm TSD be from May 26th. Nothing like this. That was that was a real unique situation where the ingredients were absolutely off the charts. And Jana, no, I haven't been slacking. Well, maybe a little bit. It's hot and humid, and you can only do so much talking about hot and humid. Jacob, long time no see. Laugh out loud. So we talked about that, Brendan. The tornado potential. It's going to be north of us. So why is that? Well, let's take a look here. As we zoom out, this is the current surface map. Kind of a little bit of a mess, but there's a frontal boundary. There's a warm front. That warm front is going to play a major role in the severe weather potential for tomorrow in the Missouri area. I know. Who's this guy, Larry? My name is Dan. I do the weather. It's been a while. Not a bit in a while that I do weather. I've been doing that, on the news, but it's been a while since we've done a live update. When's it going to get cooler? That's a good question. I'm thinking, when is this heat mess going to get better? And someone said, when is this going to get cooler? And midweek next week, the humidity is going to drop, northerly winds, northwest flow. I think we have a cooler weather pattern in store if you believe the European model. But let me show you why this weather pattern is kind of tricky. So this is the ridge of high pressure. And the ridge of high pressure is where you have showers and storms along the periphery of that ridge. And you can see the clockwise circulation in the upper levels. So that's a ridge of high pressure, sinking air underneath it, which is why basically we barely saw any clouds today, especially during the evening. Here's a look at the storms that popped up. See how they're developing and then moving south? That's that northwest flow weather pattern. I like to attribute this to the ring of fire. But look what's happening to our north. That's a lot of energy. Now, that energy is going to mainly stay north, but there's definitely a spin in the atmosphere that could lead to the potential for some thunderstorms. And you can see the southern edge of that is clipping southwest Kansas. So there's going to be the potential for some severe weather. There's the two dips in the jet stream. We got a system that's coming in tomorrow and then another one Friday. And that northwest flow weather pattern, what it does is it brings these little ripples of energy. So we'll take a look at this. This is the latest European model. Here's the energy that's swinging in. that's providing the storms. Now, watch as we put this into motion. Here's one of those ripples right here that develops some storms. It's not a lot, and that's why it's questionable how much storm development there will be. But when the farther north you go, that's where the support is a little bit stronger. Now, I don't know if you saw that, but there's one little tiny little ripple that comes through northwest Arkansas right there that could lead to additional storms. You're like, what thing? Well, let me do this real quick. Let me go back in time and let me zoom in on that so you can see. So right there, see those little red dots and white dots? That is what we call a short wave. And that short wave, as it moves east-southeast, could provide additional thunderstorms in our area. So that's something that we got to watch. And the future track is hinting at that. Now, I made a surface map, and this has been a little while since we've done a surface map because all it has been is high pressure, and that's it. But this really tells the weather story. So we've got this cold front that's going to be moving in, currently a trough of low pressure to the north. We've got a strong low pressure system where all the storms are a little more intense. Now we got hot and humid weather, but not watch this. So maybe by tomorrow morning, some cloud cover to start your Thursday. And southwest Missouri, there could be some rain. We'll take a zoomed in view of this here in just a bit. But look at when we zoom in Thursday evening, there's that frontal boundary, and look at what happens. Storms are starting to pop up along the trough of low pressure and the cold front, and then that eventually starts to drift southward, and there's the storms. Now, 6 o'clock in the evening, southwest Missouri. So, Mary, we talked about that at the beginning. The tornado threat is going to be a little bit to the north. That's where the stronger energy is. We have mainly damaging winds and large hail potential. And then you see, a lot of storms blossoming. Now, this is one model. They don't all have this. But I think northeast Oklahoma is a lock in terms of thunderstorm activity. So it's a level 1. That doesn't mean tornadoes can't happen in a level 1, but the ingredients just aren't there. Notice how the storms are weakening, but still bring some rain potential. And also those storms, as they collapse, could produce some damaging winds. Now, this is where it gets tricky. Friday, that frontal boundary stalls out. And remember those ripples of energy. Well, here's another one. Now watch what this does. This is a complex of storms that moves southeast. So if we put this into motion and we start zooming in on it, look at how that starts to move into northwest Arkansas Friday evening. Now, there are not many models that show this for Friday evening. But to break it all down for you, there is the potential for storms and severe weather Friday evening as well. Now, that's a level 1. And it's all about that northwest flow. You know the saying, you got to know it's northwest flow. Friday night into Saturday morning, damaging winds and large hail, also a possibility. So it's all about those little ripples. So let's check out the latest future tracks, and we'll look at the latest radar. And then we'll wrap it up with the 7-day and show you what we got. So let's see here. It is tough. Yeah, Lone Wolf, this is a tough call, but we know, and and I know that northwest flow can produce a lot more storms than what the models show. And that's why I have that saying, you got to know it's northwest flow. See that little boundary that comes through? That could spark off some additional storm activity. That kind of weakens it, which makes sense, but that stalls out that boundary, which will be a focus for thunderstorms. Now, this model only goes to 9 a.m. This model right here, a computer model, is the graph model, which has been crap, and add a P there. It's a crap model lately. Look, it doesn't have anything Thursday night. Absolutely nothing. I don't know if I necessarily believe that, but it's possible. And then here's Friday morning. See that little outflow boundary coming through? Now, there's way too much heat and humidity for that not to pop off anything. And then look, Friday night, finally, maybe a little bit of rain Saturday morning. That totally changed its tune, though. So anything that changes its tune that much is a little suspect, to say the least. I don't know if I believe that. If we look at the 3-kilometer NAM, the 3-kilometer NAM shows some storms tomorrow evening right there, but they show them all in northeast Oklahoma, and then they die out in northwest Arkansas. That's a possibility. I don't believe that because northwest flow produces a lot more. And then there's Friday. Look, Friday night, nothing. absolutely nothing. Saturday morning, yes, we have storm chances. And you'll see in the forecast that we've got those storm chances for Saturday morning. So people are asking about the farmers market. There's a lot of things that are going on. And I do think that weekend farmers markets in the morning are going to be an issue. So Saturday morning, going to have some rain and storms. Let's go to real quick the one model that is the most bullish. And here's a look at tomorrow morning, Southwest Missouri. But remember, we look out the window and look at what we got. We've got this big complex of storms and severe weather. We put it into motion. You can see it's moving east northeast. So we don't quite have the northwest flow, but these outflow boundaries right here can spark off additional storms a lot more than what the models suggest. So there's all these little fine scale details that the models just absolutely don't pick up on. Okay, going back to this future track, we'll step through it here. Everything's pretty quiet tomorrow afternoon. Temperatures are going to soar into the mid to upper 90s. And then look at that. Now it's got the storms Thursday afternoon and evening. I think the better chance is going to be Thursday evening into the Thursday night time frame. Now, this is what's interesting. Remember that northwest flow, we're quiet Friday morning, but then here comes that next complex of storms. Now, this is pretty bullish. This has a lot of storms by 4 or 5 o'clock Friday afternoon. It's all dependent on if that complex of storms develops early Friday morning in southwest Kansas. If it does, then we will get the storms like this shows. Now, that's a lot more than what anything else shows. So, and honestly, not looking too favorable for all of these storms to pop up. But this is the time for you to remember to download our Weather Authority app. It's been a while since we've done all this. It feels like, last time that we were focused on severe weather was that dreaded May 26th day, and they're still cleaning up, picking up the pieces. Kids are in school in trailers, especially Lingle that got blasted from that tornado. And good news is, though, is that they increased the funds for those that have been impacted by those tornadoes. Is now the financial aid has increased essentially. So the damage recovery efforts and the relief efforts and the money that's allocated to tornado victims has increased thanks to something that was signed by Governor Sanders. But there's a look at that. Scan the QR code, get the latest information. Let's check out the European model, which is a long-range model, but sometimes can be better than some of the high-resolution models. So let's see what this has for Thursday evening. I already know because I've looked at it, and it's got storms popping up right there Thursday. Oh, it actually doesn't bring in a whole lot. So we'll see how that pans out. Maybe that severe weather risk doesn't even materialize. It's possible. But either way, we are going to get rain. If it's not tomorrow evening, we will get rain Saturday early morning into the late morning. That's when I think we're going to have the best chance of rain. And so we did have a question if it was going to cool down. Let me show you this real quick. We'll break down the weather pattern, and then we'll look at the 7-day, and then I'll close it up, and we'll close up shop here. There's a look at the hot weather, and see those little ripples in the jet stream? Let me go back a little bit. That dip right there, notice how where it's really focused. It's really focused, and the nose of the jet is farther north. This is where your tornado potential is going to be. We don't have as much upper level energy. So here's a look at what we've got for the next dip. See that Friday? Storms will probably pop off east of the Rocky Mountains. They're going to move east-southeast. They're going to create what's called an MCV, mesoscale convective vortex. That's going to drop southeast. That's going to move into our area, and that's why we have those storm chances for Friday evening. Now, this is and into Saturday morning. Now, this is where things get tricky. Monday, this model, the European, shows that ridge of high pressure retrograding, backing up, and then not really developing over our area. So this is northerly flow. And what that does is that is different than northwest flow because the storms don't develop east of the Rocky Mountains and the higher terrain. No, instead, those storms develop way north of us and they miss us. So, but that does bring a cooler weather pattern. See how the hot is retreating to the west. And that right there is bringing seasonable temperatures. But why is the uncertainty so much? Well, because we'll look at this model, which is a GFS. And so this is a look at the GFS model as this loads. And you're going to see that the jet stream, once again, tomorrow evening, dipping through. And then you can see it ridging back. Now watch what this one does. This one brings the ridge and kind of develops that heat dome right over us. See how it moves it eastward? That looks pretty hot right there, if that truly does happen, because the European is different than what the GFS shows. And I also got this graphic. I'm working on this. I saw Ryan Vaughn do this. I asked him how he did it, but this is kind of cool. This is the heat dome, if you will, because you got to remember high pressure is basically the atmosphere is low pressure is where you have a lower atmosphere, and the geopotential heights are a lot higher with high pressure. So you have essentially like a heat dome. Remember, high pressure dictates where low pressure goes. So watch this. I made this little animation where you dip down and notice how there's not much of a ridge, but look at how it's starting to build as we get into our late week into the weekend. See that right there? See that ridge? That ridge builds in and it kind of develops just to our west. Now look at that. That is a giant ridge of high pressure. However, that's not quite over us, but that's going to be blazing hot for the Southwest. So the Southwestern United States is going to be scorching hot. There's a look at that heat dome kind of breaking down. Well, let me do this real quick. We're going to change the data and we're going to bring up the European model. That is the European model. I'm going to bring up the GFS and now watch what the GFS does. Nasty, the blob of nasty. That's probably the best way to describe it. So you got to dip down. Now watch this. This blob of nasty gets nasty right over us. So there's Tuesday. Remember how it showed that ridge of high pressure building in? Now watch this. Oh, that goes right over us. Oh, that's hot for late next week. But remember, here's one model. Here's the other model. There's quite a bit of a difference. This is the European. This is the GFS. There's a lot of uncertainty. But yeah, the blob of nasty. There's the best way to put it. That's a scientific term that we can say. Before I get to the 7-day, check out Ernesto. Ernesto's got that look now. I'm telling you, it probably is going to be stronger than a Category 2 and a Category 3. But there's a look at Ernesto, which is Category 1 right now. And anybody that's going to Bermuda really needs to watch this closely, because as it moves northeast, starts to accelerate. See, they only have it as a 2, and then it curves just a little bit west. Hopefully it is west of Bermuda, and movement misses it. But that's still going to be the worst side because it's on the east side of the hurricane. That, by the way, when it moves towards Bermuda, is going to be Saturday morning. So that's what you're going to be watching. Well, thank you, Josh. Appreciate that about that ridge of high pressure. Yeah, and you're going to see too on the visible, on the infrared, it's got that look. It's starting to have the spiraling bands of convection, and that typically means it's going to get a lot stronger. So get to the forecast, and then we'll shut it down for tonight. But we'll do a lot more updates tomorrow. So mid-90s, 100 degrees in Fort Smith, I think is a good possibility. Remember that moisture pools along the front, so it's going to be sweltering humid. And for those that are in the River Valley right now, I got to show you this real quick. This is the current feels like temperature. The current feels like temperature. And you're going to notice 100 at 11 o'clock. That's what it feels like. My goodness, that is hot. And that's because the dew point is in the upper 70s. Anybody in the River Valley? I'd love to just see how it feels outside. It's sweltering. I mean, that is oppressive humidity. That's like you got to wear a snorkel mask to walk outside. You got to have your fins and snorkel mask and have your scuba gear to just walk out the door. There's a 7-day forecast, mid 90s, Friday, mid 90s. Notice the storm chances. We've got them in the morning. Well, I mean, what I mean is we got them in the evening, late PM, and then Friday morning, and then Friday night into Saturday morning. Saturday morning is going to probably be the most likely time for storms. But again, we continue with that northwest flow. So we've got those storm chances, 20%, can't remove it. Any type of complex of storms could move in. But I'm believing the seasonable temps. 90 degrees on Tuesday, Wednesday 90, and then upper 60s for morning lows. So there's your Northwest Arkansas forecast. Active. It'll still be hot, though. Don't doubt that. And the River Valley, of course, will be hotter. And the storm chances are a lot less because you're farther south. You're not close to the boundary. Therefore, the lift will be less. But there still could be some strong storms. And then you see Friday, questionable how much rain Friday is going to get, but then the storms come through Saturday morning. So there's our 7-day forecast. And real quick, this is the breakdown of the timing. And then this is the last thing I'll show here. So there's 30% for the chance of rain for tomorrow night. And we can't go any higher than that because there is a lot of uncertainty as to how much storm coverage is going to be. And then there's a 40% in the Northwest Arkansas area. And this is a model thing that it did where it goes down to 0 and then back to 20%. So we'll adjust that for the newest forecast. The blob of nasty. Yeah, you don't need to worry about tornadoes, Tracy. There's just now you might have to worry about downburst potential. So there's definitely going to be that. Okay, guys. So that's it. There you go for a little weather update. And just to let you know, I am going to be busy all day tomorrow. I am judging for the Parade of Homes for the Northwest Arkansas Home Builders Association. So I start in the morning. I go until 5 o'clock. I will be on the 6 o'clock, but Zach is going to have your updates. We'll be watching the radar closely. I'll keep you updated. And Peyton is going to be live out at Arvis Ballpark, and hopefully he gets to meet Justin Verlander and maybe get an autograph. So that'd be cool. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for watching. Again, when the weather turns bad, we'll let you know about it. But we don't do these every night. So I'm going to head out, and you have a great rest of your Wednesday, which is just 55 minutes left of it. Take care. God bless, and have a good one. Hey, bye, Wyatt. We'll see you. Thanks for watching.